So, you're trying to land a data science job in 2026. Well, let me tell you, that portfolio of yours needs a serious upgrade. We're not talking about just any old projects. Today, we're going to break down the 5 essential projects that will actually get you noticed by hiring managers at the companies you really want to work for. And look, to be really clear, I'm not talking about the Titanic survival model. We've all been there, right? Those projects are great for learning the basics, the syntax, but they don't teach you how data science actually works inside a real company. And that's the key. Hiring managers today, they're looking for something completely different. You see, there's a huge difference between tutorial projects and industry projects. The old way, it was all about these perfect, clean data sets where you're just chasing that accuracy score in a vacuum. But in the real world, it's messy. The new approach, the one that's going to get you hired, is all about showing you can handle that mess. It's about proving you can understand a real business problem, make tough trade-offs, and, this is the big one, actually create value for the company. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about this modern portfolio gap. Then we'll dive into the good stuff, projects on analyzing customers and demand, digging up insights from hidden data, the all-important end-to-end challenge, and finally, how this all takes you from a learner to a professional. Let's get into it. Okay, first up, the modern portfolio gap. Let's really get into why those classic beginner projects just don't make the cut anymore. Let's get real for a second. In an actual job, nobody is ever going to hand you a perfectly clean CSV file. It just doesn't happen. Real data science is, well, it's messy. You're grappling with incomplete data, you're making trade-offs all the time, like, do we need this to be super accurate or super fast? And maybe the most important part, you have to explain what you found to people who don't know a thing about a random forest. Your classic tutorial project, it skips all of that crucial stuff. All right, section 2, analyzing customers and demand. This is where you start proving your business impact with some absolutely foundational skills. So, project number 1 is all about customer segmentation and retention. First thing you do, get some real transaction data. None of that clean, fake stuff. Think telecom, retail, something with juice. Next, you segment those users using something called RFM analysis. That's recency, frequency, and monetary value. Then, you build a churn prediction model. But here's the kicker. Don't just stop at the model. The whole point is to connect it to a real business decision. Who should we give a discount to? Who are our VIPs? The interpretation here is actually way more important than the model itself. Our second project is demand forecasting. And this skill is an absolute classic. It's evergreen. It will never go out of style. Seriously, think about it. Retailers need to know how much stuff to stock. Energy companies need to predict usage. Tech companies have to forecast server load. The ability to predict the future, even a little bit, is just insanely valuable. The applications are everywhere. And here's the pro move for this project. Don't just build one model. That's the beginner mistake. You need to compare a few. Build a classic ARIMA model. Try out something like Facebook's Profit. Maybe even an LSTM if you're feeling adventurous. The goal isn't just to build the most complicated thing you can think of. It's to be able to stand there and explain the trade-offs. Why is this model the right tool for this specific business problem? That's what gets you hired. Okay, let's keep going. Our next section is insights from hidden data. This is where things get really interesting, because we're going to extract value from unstructured text and experiments, the really messy stuff. For project number 3, we're diving into natural language processing. But hold on, let's be super clear about this. A basic positive or negative sentiment analysis project, it's just not going to impress anyone anymore. That's table stakes. What companies really want is to see you dive into the mountains of text they have and pull out something actually useful, something they can act on. And just think about all that data. It's like a hidden gold mine. Customer support tickets, product reviews, even internal Slack messages. Most of this is just sitting there, completely untouched. So imagine building a system that automatically categorizes support tickets or finds recurring bugs from reviews. This shows you can handle modern tools like embeddings and vector databases to create some serious value. Project number 4. Now this one is a huge differentiator. I'm talking about experimentation. Think about companies like Meta, Netflix, and Uber. How do they make decisions? It's not gut feelings. They run thousands of experiments, A/B tests. It is fundamental to how they work. And yet, almost nobody has an experimentation project in their portfolio. If you do, you're going to stand out, big time. But again, we're not just doing the basic version. Don't just run a simple A/B test. The real power move here is to go a level deeper with something called uplift modeling. So instead of just asking, hey, did our new feature work overall? You're estimating the causal effect on specific groups of users. So the question you're really answering is this: which users benefited the most from this change? Was it better for new users or for our loyal customers? Did it work better on mobile or desktop? When you can answer questions like that, you're showing you can drive personalization and make really smart, data-driven recommendations. And that is exactly what top-tier companies are dying for. Okay, on to our final project. And honestly, this might be the most important one of all. This is the end-to-end challenge. This is where you go from a Jupyter notebook to a fully deployed system, and it proves you're ready. Let's just be brutally honest for a second. A model that lives and dies in a Jupyter notebook creates exactly zero business value. It's a science project. The real value, the thing that gets you paid, only happens when that model is actually deployed, when it's out there in the wild making predictions. Yep, that's the number. 0. Until your model is in production, its business value is a big, fat 0. Your portfolio absolutely has to prove that you understand this. So for project number 5, you're going to build a whole end-to-end system. Pick a real problem, track your experiments with something like MLflow, and then, here's the key, deploy it. Use a simple framework like FastAPI or Streamlit, and don't forget the last step. Have a plan for monitoring it. How are you going to know if the data starts to change? When will you retrain it? Just showing that you've thought about these MLOps problems proves you're ready for a real job. Okay, let's bring it all home. Let's talk about going from a learner to a professional, because focusing on these 5 projects fundamentally transforms how a hiring manager sees you. When you build these kinds of projects, you make a huge leap. You go from being a learner who can follow instructions to a hireable professional who gets the business context, who can tackle messy problems, and who knows how to create actual measurable value. It's not about showing off your Python syntax anymore. It's about showing you know how to think like a data scientist inside a real company. So there you have it. That's the blueprint for a portfolio that will actually win you a job in 2026. Customer segmentation, demand forecasting, deep NLP insights, real experimentation, and a fully deployed end-to-end system. The only question left is, which one are you going to start building first?